ending to this series. Chefs, this book is the what opens up my eyes to one of the best series I've ever read, and rips your heart out, like messes it up and then stuffs it back in there and then heals you again, and it's so beautiful. So hey, hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome to the top books of 2025. I read 91 books this last year in 2025. And I wouldn't say it's the best reading year I've ever had. I wouldn't say it's the worst reading year. I definitely didn't read as many books as I would normally do. I usually read well over 100 books, but like life happens, right? But I did have quite a few standout favorites. Now I'm going to start out with my honorable mentions. Like some of these, not necessarily a 5-star review, but like I really enjoyed them. I'd highly suggest for others to read them. So I'm going to start with those, and then we will get into all of my top reads of 2025. So let's get going here with the start. Assistant to the Villain, first honorable mention. Now, pretty popular series. It's really fun. This follows Evie, and Evie has lost her job, right? She can't get one in the small village that she lives at. She happens to be out and about in the forest, and she somehow connects with like the villain of the story and of like her world, and she ends up getting a job with him. And it's like a funny, silly, quirky, fun vibe. Like it's a little bit, maybe a tad romance, but it's very interesting to follow kind of Evie along and like how she's pretty much the secretary of this villain, and it's funny and it's cute. There's really fun characters because there's he lives in the middle of nowhere in the forest, but he actually has like a huge vast network of like people who work for him, and it's interesting, like the little tidbits. Like I don't know, maybe it's just because I worked in a doctor's office for a very long time, so it's funny to see like the certain like quirks that like the villain ends up having, like how she like navigates around that, and like his certain like attitudes he gets into of like his murderous times. And it's silly, it's fun, it's goofy, it's a really fun read. I believe there's 3 books out so far. The 4th and final book is coming out later this year in 2026, I believe. I think sometime in August. Don't quote me on that. Sometime in there. And I'm excited for it. Now, as this year's gone along, it has gotten a little meh, but not terrible, right? I think it's all going to come together in the last book, but this first book, super fun. It makes you laugh, it makes you giggle, and it just makes you want to continue reading. I think that's all that matters in a really good book, so I would highly suggest this book. The next book in honorable mentions is Ice Planet Barbarians. Now, this is not necessarily for the faint of heart. This is definitely a pretty big, hardcore smut, and honestly, it's worth it. It's worth every read. I think a lot of people hate on this book series, but I enjoyed it. Like I went through, I think there's like at least 20-ish books ready and available, and they're pretty short reads. I think they're all like under 300 pages. And I read like at least over 15 of them. Like I was like going through on the Kindle. Like I sped read through these series, and I enjoyed it, every single one. So it follows along pretty much like you get stolen from Earth, right? Like as these women, kind of like almost human trafficking is the only way to describe it, but it's intergalactic. And they somehow crash land on this planet with the Ice Planet Barbarians of these like blue people. And it kind of follows along. Each book is like an interconnected standalone of each girl that kind of comes down, like who got into this crash originally from Earth, and like how they have to survive on this planet, and like these blue people who are like pretty much a dying race, and this is like a brand new thing. And these are all romance books, and it's really cute. Like it's definitely like not the best well-written book at all. By no means is it great, but it's a funny, silly twist on sci-fi, and I enjoyed that. They're fun, they're easy to get through, and it was cute. It was cute, but if you're not into like alien/monster type romance, not for you. But again, I really enjoyed it, and I wouldn't even say it's a monster, but they're just like big blue muscular guys. It's the only way to describe it, and they might have like, I don't remember if they have tails, but I think some of them have horns. But like, again, it is what it is. But I enjoyed this book. I really think it's a good read. And it's a funny, silly twist on sci-fi. And again, I enjoyed it. I'd highly suggest it for others. But if you're not really into smut, not for you. But moving on. Now, the next book honorable mention is the Harry Potter series. Now, these are top tier series. I'm only mentioning it in the honorable mentions because it's a very popular series. And like, if you don't know I don't love this book, then like there's something wrong. Like you need to read. I think this is truly the first time I reread all these books since I was an adult. I think so. And it was honestly, dare I say, more magical than when I was a child. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but dare say it was right there, right? Like I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I had fun. Like I read all this here. Like it really like puts you in a world that you never want to get out of. And like I can never say enough good things about Harry Potter, and especially rereading it as an adult, I think it was worth it even more because you're truly just transported, and like the way the writing is done is so beautiful for any amount of time like that you want to spend. Like you don't want to leave this world, and I think that's what's so beautiful about the Harry Potter series. And also, have you seen the new, because I'm making a series on HBO Max, have you watched the new trailer for it? Looks pretty good. I'm a little unsure about it, but they have more time to do than what the movies did, and the movies are great already, so we shall see. But Harry Potter, always a good read. Next is the Tempest of Tea series. It's a finished YA duology. Again, super fun, super interesting. Not quite a 5-star read, but like almost there. Excuse you. Ah! Sorry, mild calibration issues there. Welcome to having cats. Okay, back to what I was saying. A Tempest of Tea. I can't even talk. A Tempest of Tea and A Steeping of Blood. Super fun YA series. It's got vampires in it, and it kind of follows along like an underground gang, and they're like young brother and sister, and they're kind of following along like this like mystery, right? There's vampires, and they kind of run a tea house by day and like a blood house by night. And again, super underground, not supposed to be doing this. Like the world knows about vampires, but they're very like wary of them. They don't want them around. But it really comes out to be this huge heist. So fans of Six of Crows, I think, would like this series. But it's a really, I feel like this is a very underrated series. I feel like I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, and I don't know why. Because it's a really good, interesting read. It's got really good pace throughout both these books. And again, it's just a duology. And the love story is really good. Like very like low tier in the like course of like this whole book. It's not just a romance. But I really like YAs know how to do yearning. Like they do. They know how to yearn and like get you connected to this character and like, oh man, they touched hands. Like the way they do it is always so, I don't know how YA do it, but they do. But this is such an interesting series. There's lots of like secrets unfolded, and it's a fun ride top to bottom, and I would highly suggest this. Again, if you're a vampire lover, this is for you. If you like YA, but even as like somebody who's like YA is hit or miss for me sometimes, because sometimes it's almost like too childish. This was not it at all. This is like, I think, the perfect mix of like still like knowing they're 17, 18 years old-ish, but like also still making somewhat important decisions because they had to grow up fast in the world that they live in. But again, super fun. Vampires, heist. I enjoyed it. Would thoroughly suggest to read. Next is another By the Horns, the Royal Artifactual Guild. There are currently 2 books in this series, also by Ruby Dixon, who did the Ice Planet Barbarians. Now this one is fun. It really is fun. The concept is super interesting. This is a monster romance. It involves a human and a minotaur. So if you're not into that, this book is not for you, but this series is so interesting. So this follows like hundreds or thousands of years ago. At some point, there's lots of magical beings. Now, there's no more magic left in the world. But what they do is it's like underneath the earth. So they're all like people who go and, what are they called? Not architects. Oh, sorry, not architects, archaeologists. There we go. I was like, that architects doesn't sound right. Archaeologists. And so they go into these tunnels and they go and find all these magical items. Because in this world, like magic imbued and everything, even like spoons and like watches and like random stuff, right? So any magical thing they could get, like they get lots of money for, and they could sell it to like royalty and like top of the world people, like, right, like things of that nature. And so it's really interesting. So in the first book, we do follow along our main character. She is of a noble bloodline, and she's kind of like, I think I don't know if her dad was just like left nothing or what, but like they have like absolutely no money. And so she takes it upon herself to go and get all, like, become one of these artifactual guild members, and she's gonna make a bunch of money and trying to save the family, right? Well, there's not really any women in this artifactual guild, and it's very male driven, and so it's really interesting how she navigates that. And then she ends up, because the minotaurs in the story, they're kind of like the workhorses of like this thing, right? They have higher senses, they can see in the dark, and they're very looked down upon, like almost slave-like. But she needs somebody, because she and her, is her maid? Her maid or her like lady's maid or something like that go there like without permission with her family, because she's just trying to save the family. She's super smart, but she needs like a companion or somebody to like watch over her and vouch for her. So she ends up in this marriage of convenience with this Minotaur who like needs somebody for like this certain instance, and things kind of go from there. And she has to learn lots of different things. It's very like a physical demanding job, and she is like lived a life of luxury, and it's a really fun, interesting world, and just the like concept behind it is really fun. The romance is obviously very good too, but like the concept behind this is super, super fun. It's enjoyable. It's an easy read. Again, monster romance, this is not your thing, don't read it. But the smut really isn't that smutty, and I really liked the storyline of just like how they're archaeologists for like old magical things and like the story behind it all. And it's, again, I really enjoyed it. It's also really pretty. Like, you can't tell me that's not a pretty cover. Anyway, we know how I feel about pretty covers, but moving on, super, super good. The last in this series, now, for some reason, I don't know why this series is so, like, I feel like I hear everybody talking about this series again. I don't know, but I read the Infernal Devices trilogy last year, and I enjoyed it, but truly the one that comes out on top is the last book in the series, Clockwork Princess. The ending to this series, chef's kiss. I don't know that I've ever read a better ending to a series before, ever. Like the epilogue. The epilogue is so, like, it just rips your heart out and like fulfills you back and like reminds you like love is real, and it's so beautiful. So in this story, this is in the Mortal Instruments world, right? So if you know about the story, shadow hunters, angels, demons, that kind of thing, but this is set in the 1800s, so super fun twist on that. And there are people from the descendants of the Tellers and whatever the names are in like the Mortal Instruments series. It's like they are like the descendants from these people, right? So super interesting, like the storyline and how it kind of starts out there. But we follow along Tessa. Her great aunt has died, who has been taking care of her and her brother has gone back to England to like secure passage for her. Well, she shows up, and some like people end up like kidnapping her, and then she's like thrown into this like huge, similar to what happened to Clary in the Mortal Instruments, thrown into this angels and demons world that she had no idea what was a part of. And it's a very interesting storyline because it kind of like, well, who is she? Where did she come from? How can she see us? And again, like all the ruins and like this love triangle that kind of comes about in the story. And again, like the steampunk vibe with like the Mortal Instruments and all the ruins and like how they like go about like these like different beings that they have to like get rid of and things like that. It's a really fun, interesting storyline. But again, like the ending to this series is one I will never soon forget, truly, because it comes full circle. And honestly, like more than poetry, it is beautiful. It like makes your heart beat so fast, and like I cried at the end of the series because it's such a beautiful ending. Like I don't know how she thought of that, but it is so beautiful because it's not something I would have ever expected to happen. It's chef's kiss. Highly, highly suggest it. Again, this is like a YA, some romance in it, bit of a love triangle. There's some action in it, and it's got a really good plot line. If you like the Mortal Instruments, I've heard a lot of people like this better. Honestly, it's been so long since I've read the original Mortal Instruments, I don't know. But again, I like the aspect of like the steampunk 1800s vibe. So if that's your vibe, I'd definitely be going for this series. All right, are you ready for our top books? Are you sitting down? Are you set? Do you have some water? Have you been drinking your water? Well, let's take a sip. But let's start out with the Enchanted. Let's start with the Spell Shop first, because technically this is the first series. Then we'll get into the Enchanted Greenhouse. How about that? Let's kind of go in order, right? So the Spell Shop, super cute. This was really popular, I think a year before last, whenever it came out, and it was worth it. It was worth the read. It's such a beautiful telling. So pretty much in this world, there's a bunch of islands, right? Think Hawaii. There's one main island, and then like lots of little islands spread throughout, or like the Philippines too. Anyway, moving on. And so in this book, pretty much there's a civil war breaks out and things kind of go awry in the kingdom. And the main character is the librarian of like this big main city on like one of the main islands. And so she ends up taking it upon herself to save all these books and has to flee the main city. And you're not supposed to take these books. It's like super illegal, right? And she's just a librarian. She has no like thoughts of or like ability to like channel magic or anything like that. Like taking these books is super illegal, but like who is going to stop her? Because the city is in turmoil, but also super illegal. And she does have a sentient being plant called Kaz. I believe he's a spider plant. And he's like her assistant, and he's really fun. He's interesting. He's a fun side character because it's like this plant is talking. And he's funny, he's quirky. But she has nowhere to go, but she grew up in like a very, very small island, like way out of the way. So she's like, well, technically I still have a home there. So she ends up going out to there in this small town, ends up finding this town is kind of dying or lackluster. And she kind of takes it upon herself to kind of save her town, and by magic means, which she has no idea. But of course, she's super smart. She's a librarian. She knows how to read. So she's like, well, I can do all these spells. Again, super legal, and it's fun. The really thing I think that gets me is like the writing style and like how you can picture everything that's happening, like with the way that magic blooms, or like the honestly, like the entire vibes of like how the entire cottage looks and how she sets certain things up. And it's such a beautiful taking, and it's such a fun story. It's a slow build up, and it's not like a quick fast read, right? Like this, well, it's a quick fast read, but like not fast paced, if that makes sense. It's pretty slow. You're supposed to enjoy yourself, and like enjoy myself I did. This was worth all of the rave that I got, honestly. It's worth all of the rave. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was obviously one of my top books of the year. Now, going into the second book in the series is The Enchanted Greenhouse. Now, the Kaz, who is the spider plant in this book, he was not supposed to be made as a sentient being. It's super like no. Well, the librarian that made him was turned into wood or something, or wooden statue for her crime. So that follows into the Enchanted Greenhouse book. And Turlu, that sounds right. I think Turlu is the main character who created Kaz and who was punished, who was supposed to be in this wooden statue form for however many years or whatever as her punishment, because she's not supposed to perform any type of magic because she is just a librarian. She somehow wakes up in this enchanted greenhouse, and kind of life ensues from there, because she meets this like super grumpy like caretaker who like does not, he wanted somebody to help him out there, but like she was not who he was expecting. And how it all comes about is so beautiful. And again, the writing style in this, like, because it's not just one greenhouse, it's like an interconnected set of greenhouses. Like, it can be as simple as like tomatoes and like a small greenhouse, to like flowers and like different types of like carnivorous flowers or roses garden. And it's like everything in this book is so beautiful. There's also lots of different fun creatures in this one, and it's just the way she writes, like, from greenhouse to greenhouse is so beautiful. Like, you can, because, like, when I read like it's like a video happening. Like, I'm watching TV. And, like, the way I'm able to piece all this together, because her writing is so explanatory, and, like, how you know what you're looking at and, like, what you're smelling. Like, I feel like I'm immersed in both of these stories, and I love that. So this is a perfect, like, autumny fall read. This is a perfect, like, wintry-esque read. Now, you could, of course, read them at whatever time of year, but I think to best get them out of, like, to like best get like the best out of these books, autumn, read this in winter. Okay, I'm just saying. The War of Lost Hearts trilogy. Let me tell you, Carissa Broadbent is easily becoming an auto-buy author for me. This series blew me away. Like, I'd heard some things about it, but it really is such a beautiful series. Like, it like rips your heart out, like messes it up, and like stuffs it back in there, and then heals you again. And it's so beautiful. She ends up kind of buying her way out of slavery, and of course, like, her people were like taken over, right? Like, she's like one of the last people of her own kind left, and she goes because she wants to be a part of this like magical society that pretty much rules the world, I would say, and like keeps people safe and from like different kingdoms and things like that. And it's not just like a one kingdom fits all. It's like anybody can come and train at this university, and this, like, honestly, it's like a big cult. It's the only way to describe it. It's like this big magical cult. And so she ends up going there because she's like, I think I'd say in her 20s-ish. And she goes there. Of course, she's a lot older than most people would like project for like mages to go. Usually they're like 10, 12 years old when they start their training. But like, she came on the word, like everything she overcame to like get to this place, insane, right? And from there, she kind of finds out things are not all that she thought them to be. And lots of wars start happening, and she's at the center of it all. And it's such a beautifully written series, like, especially going to the second book. Like, you're following two different people, two different main characters, and like you know what's going on, but you don't know what's going on. Like, I will say, I almost seen that second book, because you're like, it's like in most fantasy series, you're like, I have no idea what's going on, and then finally it all clicks together, and all the puzzle pieces come together, and it blew my mind. It was not something I was expecting. Like, again, it ripped my heart out, and like, it's got stabbed a few times, and then she just shoved it back in and said, figure it out in book 3, and I'm telling you, I was like ripping through the pages at this point on this book, right? It was just so beautiful of a storyline, like the way like the wars come about and like all of the different things that happen. It's such a beautiful series. And the love story, very, very, very minor, I would say, in the series again, but so beautiful how that comes about. But really like the betrayals and like the politics behind everything really put this book in the forefront. Again, easy 5-star read series. It makes you just feel whole, but also broken at the same time. And like, what more can you ask from a series, honestly? The Bridge Kingdom series. Now, this was technically a reread for me, but guess what? It's still one of the 10 best books that I read this last year, okay? It just was, so that's why I'm putting it in this category. Bridge Kingdom, love it. I did technically, this is almost a finished series. There's one more book coming out in the next few weeks, so it's a set of duologies, but of a 6-book series, if that makes sense. So I did read the Inadequate Heir and the, whatever the second duology of the book is, that one. It was good. It was good. But again, rereading the first series, because even though they're about different couples each time, there's a lot of events that happen that you need to read first in order to understand the next books. So just a caveat to that. But anyway, The Bridge Kingdom. I think is it my second time reading through? Maybe my third time. But at least my second time. Like, I could read this again tomorrow. Easy 6-star series. Easy 6-star series. So this follows along Laura, our main character. Now, she is a princess, and her and her sisters are pretty much sequestered in this like desert landscape of their kingdom, and they're pretty much taught to be like the kingdom's greatest assassins, right? And they're taught from like a very young age, like that is what they're meant to do, and like born and bred to do, pretty much. And so her dad then marries her off to the king of Ithaca. So she lives on the desert isle, right? Like one of the huge mainlands, but then in the middle, in between, like one of the other countries is Ithaca, like a string of different islands, right? And so they kind of man all of like the trading and such through there, because if you want to get to the other side, you really have to, number one, go through their navy, or number two, go through their island, because it's a lot cheaper. So for somebody who's not able to farm and things like that, like they hold a lot of power over this world. And so she's meant to go in there, marry this king, and pretty much figure out a way how to topple down this kingdom. And of course, nothing goes right from there. And to see the development of this character is so fun. She's such an interesting, dynamic, fun character that like you just want her to like figure out like life doesn't have to be like this, and she slowly figures that out. But then of course the twists and the turns you would never see coming in this series, so good. Like again, this is one of my all-time favorite series. I would say that right here, right now. 6-star read. It's got action, romance, twists and turns. It really, the way it all comes about in this series is so beautiful, and it's such a intricate series. Again, maybe not the best writing style, but it definitely holds your attention story-wise. And again, I love the series. I'll never stop recommending the series. And so that's all I gotta say about that. Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. Again, another Carissa Broadbent book. This is a standalone fantasy novel. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Hands down. So wonderfully written. Like I'm telling you, Carissa Broadbent is slowly becoming like an auto-by-author for me. Like especially in standalone fantasies, there's a lot to get through in like this world. But this is set in the Crowns of Nyxia world. So the Serpent of Night series and things like that. It's set into this world, but with different characters. I'm not sure about the timeline of when this occurs, but it's in that world. So pretty much our main character, she is pretty much, I'm just going to say, this religious cult. And in this series, or like in her religion, she falls along this deity where they're pretty much trained killing assassins. But in order to do so, they have to remove their eyesight as their, as a devotion to their god, right? So even though she's blind, she can see in other ways. So her eyesight is taken away. So if you know K-pop Demon Hunters, you know the Han Moon, how like all the lines and things come about. Like that's how I imagine how she sees, kind of like almost like echolocation almost too. Like she has so many other senses, but she's just full-on trained mercenary. And pretty much what happens, vampires come into the world and they're like taking over all these different kingdoms, and she's kind of tasked to go out and figure out and like kill this vampire king or queen, or I think he's prince. I don't remember if he's a prince or a king, but anyway, he's like naming himself king in these islands of like all these human courtships that he's taking over. And so she goes and she pretty much infiltrates his camp and like trying to get on his good side, trying to figure out what he's doing, and ends up finding out like maybe what she's been taught her entire life isn't all it's supposed to be. And the dynamic of all this, how she's like trying to get on his side of things, and then like seeing her point of view of like what she's been taught her whole life versus like what's maybe actually happening and has she been lied to, and like again her belief system, like she believed this her entire life, this is what she fought for, and so now she starts beginning questioning that. And like the love story in this also fantastic, like it really has you like gripping like what is happening next, like you just want to know. And it's a good like easy 5-star read. It's not hard to follow along. You don't need to read like the beginning of like the Serpent and the Monk's Night. You don't have to read that series again. Interconnected, standalone. Not sure what the timeline of that, but it's such a good read. Like it was astounding how good this like it really hits everything you want. You want action, you want romance, you've got interconnected storyline, you've got an interesting breakdown of like characters, an interesting deity, and like the way the gods are. It's the way it all piles together with the vampires on top. It really circles all of the things and like check marks all the things you want in a book. Highly suggest. Will not say enough about that. So good. Lights out. What can I say about this book? This is a very popular book. I was a little on the fence of reading this book. I feel like I'm starting to like sway from dark romance, because sometimes it's like the themes are just so dark, like I don't want to read about such dark things. And this is kind of like a dark romance, and I put very high quotation marks about that because it's funny. It's a funny dark romance. This is honestly, I don't know that I'd even classify it dark romance. This is a very light dark romance. It does have a couple of darker themes, but it's so funny and it cracks me up. So this follows, I believe Josh is the main male character. So pretty much he is like a Instagram god. He likes to post pictures of himself with like a purge mask and like his very hot, sexy body. And he has like a really tough background story that he goes through, but he's super good, like techie guy, right? And then he follows our main character, Allie. And Allie is a ER nurse, and she follows him on Instagram, of course. And she like is super burnt out from her work. She sees like such horrible things because they live in, I believe it's Chicago, and she works in like one of the downtown hospitals. So it's like wrought with victims and like honestly all of the atrocities in the world. I'm sure she's seen it, and she works long hours, and she's just tired, and she loves watching these things. And somehow they kind of meet, and he ends up kind of stalking her. And it's just so funny because he's such a like golden retriever vibes guy, and he's so cute. He's just so cute because like he's this like dark, scary, like 6'7" dude, right? But he's always like, "Can I pet your cat?" Like it is so fun. Like the majority of opposites that happen. But anyway, things kind of go along in the story, and like of course he's stalking her first. She doesn't realize who he is in real life, and something bad kind of happens, and they end up kind of having to go to her dark mob family like out in the things, and it just kind of connects them. And I love the storyline. It's pretty heavily smutted, but the way it's done is so beautifully done. But definitely check the trigger warnings first. Again, if this is not your feeling of dark romance, don't read this. But it was, just for the romance alone, so beautiful. The way it's connected and like done so lightly, I think that's why I love the book so much, because it literally had me laughing out loud several times. Like I'm just sitting here by myself reading this book laughing, and I loved it. I loved that aspect of being able to just pick up the book, even though there's darker elements to it. It was funny, and I enjoyed that thoroughly, right? But honestly, I couldn't recommend this enough. Like I loved this book. It makes you laugh, but also you're getting that dark romance seriousness out of it too. And I don't know how Novessa Allen like connected all the dots in the story, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would highly suggest it if you're a dark romance reader or looking to maybe kind of dip your toes into dark romance. I think this is a very good beginner book for you. And again, it's a fun wild ride, but you have so much enjoyment while reading it. Again, the enjoyment, like that's all that matters, right? Now, the last book of my top series, I'm going to consider this like as a series of my top favorites, right? Like it's not just specifically this book, but this book is the what opens up my eyes to one of the best series I've ever read, and that is Dark Lover. Now this is part of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and if you've not heard of it, let me tell you about it, because oh my lord, it is created so many, like, I don't know how to explain this book. It's so good. It's so good. This is technically an older series. I think there's like 20 plus books in the series. I'm only like 5 or 6 books in, but it's such a beautiful freaking series. This is the first book, Dark Lover. So pretty much we are following along these vampires, and they are like hundreds of years old, and part of this Black Dagger Brotherhood, they are like the warriors of all the vampires, right? Like they are the kings, and they protect them from humanity and like all these other like bad characters that come into play. And the first book, can't even talk, specifically is from Darius. Now, Darius, that's not right. Sorry, not Darius, my bad. So this first book is about Wrath. Now, Wrath is like the top dude, right? I think he's the oldest of them all. Maybe. He's the top dude, right? Either, I don't know if he's the oldest or not, but he's kind of got like the most power of them all. And he is blind. But of course, being a vampire he has other abilities and things like that. But we follow along. One of the characters kind of dies early on in the series, and his daughter is left behind, and he asks Wrath, like his blood brother, like, I need you to look after my daughter. And so she's half vampire, half human, I believe. Yeah, that sounds right. She's half vampire, half human. And he goes to kind of look in upon her, and like things kind of happen from there. And she doesn't know about this world at all. She doesn't realize she's half vampire, and her whole world kind of explodes around, and then it really gets to like understanding like who these people are. Vampires are actually real in the world, and like all the backstory. And it does have some smut in it. It's not super heavy or anything like that, but the way this is all pieced together, one of my all-time favorite series. Like, easily could read this book again and again. Like, I could read this book again and again right now, and I could not recommend this series enough. It's so interesting. Again, there's so many books out too. They're all interconnected standalones, but you do have to read them in order because you have to know the events of what happened in this book going into the next book. And I do think there are a few books that like come back around and like are about like Wrath and like the other female main character, and about like the main group of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, because like there's not a vampire. And there's not a lot of vampires left in the world, and so they're really just trying to save their vampire race, right? Because again, in this modern world, like they're super like they listen to a lot of rap, they're in these huge black Escalades, and it's just really funny how it like kind of comes about. And especially because this is an older series, like the technology is also kind of funny to like read about, like the cell phones and things like that like are not the same as they are in today's world. But I'm sure it's a lot different going on through the series. But it's funny to just kind of look back and like how like the early 2000s like viewed technology, right? Like it's interesting, it's fun, but it's such an interesting concept, and like how all these characters are connected. Like you really start to fall for these characters and like trying to understand what they go through. And I love this series. If you're into vampires, you're gonna love this series. And it really is such an eye-opening series, and I love all the romance in it, but really just like the storyline of like the Black Dagger brothers, right? Like you can't move past it. It's so interesting. Like you're absorbed into the world. Like you want to get in their world. Like you don't want to leave, right? But anyway, that is my top books of 2025. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it. I love talking about books. Do you love talking about books? Let me know what your top books of 2025 are. Because again, like I feel like it was a good reading year, but like not like my worst reading year, right? Like it wasn't like fantastic, but I did find some really great reads. Let me know if I influenced you to read any of these on my list that I currently have. And just let me know, what were your top reads of 2025 down in the comments. And I hope you guys had a wonderful time listening to me yap about some books. And happy reading. I'll see you on the next one.